Welcome back to Sunrise Today. We're still taking a look at the primaries that is said to have held about Adamawa PDP. We'll still have Mr. Lawrence Ngbale here with us, a member of the PDP. But we're now joined on the phone from Abuja by Senator Jonathan Zwingena, who is also a member of the PDP in Adamawa State. Morning, Senator, and thank you for joining us. We're talking about the primaries. Well, Mr. Ngbale here says no such thing held. What's your perspective on that? Did the primaries hold?
Yes. Let me say a number of things. Firstly, we need to understand some issues. There are constitutional and regulatory arrangements made by every party. In the People's Democratic Party, the highest organ of execution of party decisions is called the National Executive Committee, which meets at least once in a quarter. Between the meetings of NEC, the National Working Committee takes actions and decisions on behalf of the party. And the guidelines of the party were rolled out by the NWC and were actually approved by NEC. And the NEC of PDP comprises so many people, representatives of the bulk of the membership of the party, including governors, speakers. There are 5 BOT members from Adamawa State. And so they were well represented, including the suspended chairman of the party in Adamawa State. However, when the NWC read out guidelines for elections, we found a certain culture developing in Adamawa State where the suspended party leaders began to act in rebellion against any decision from the National Working Committee. Firstly, the Congress committee that came to Adamawa State came and met a situation on ground where the local chapter complained about inability to conduct congresses in some local governments because of the insurgency, and therefore agreed to use the old delegate list. I was in that meeting. A bulk of the majority, as a result of the security situation, accepted that decision. However, there were petitions that arose from that decision from some people who bought forms, compelling the appeals committee to respond and make adjustments to that delegate list. To our surprise, the local chapter at that time decided not to accept the NWC position on the delegate list and developed their own list, which they published in the newspaper. As a result of that misconduct, the NWC suspended some members of the executive. Following that, the NWC also fixed the House of Assembly primaries to be held in Adamawa State. And the chairman of that election committee, Ambassador T.A. Madu, led a team to Adamawa State. And as it is customary, was received at the airport by the new chairman of the party and the new secretary, who took him to the governor for a courtesy call. Now, according to the petition of the ambassador who was the chairman of the committee, as soon as he got to the governor's place, he just met in attendance at that meeting the commissioner of police and other security agencies. And the governor showed him a court order that said, number one, that the old delegate list must be used and not the list the NWC gave the chairman from Abuja. Number two, that the chairman of the party suspended has been reversed by a court in Yola, although nobody saw that court order even in Abuja. And as a result of that, the chairman of the election committee was told that he had to use these 2 documents. Now, the chairman of the committee explained why he was in Adamawa State and the documents given to him by the NWC of the party. Thereafter, he was taken to a hotel owned by the governor called Muna Hotel. And as soon as they got there, they noticed talk. All these are in his petition. Talk surrounded the hotel and began to push themselves into their rooms, insisting that they use the old delegate list prepared by the local chapter and not by the committee sent from Abuja, insisting that the chairman suspended by Abuja must be the one he will work with and not the one appointed by Abuja. And then thirdly, insisting that they will have no peace until they did that. As a result, some elders intervened, took the chairman and his committee to the presidential lodge. Don't forget, the presidential lodge is within the precincts of the government house. And the governor is an aspirant. So in essence, the committee was located and housed in the premises of an aspirant. It was from there that the chairman in his petition had his materials taken away from him under duress. And he did send out a text from that location saying his life was threatened and he had to obey in order to get his safe conduct out. So these were the processes. As soon as this chairman and his committee were released and they were able to find themselves in Abuja, they petitioned the national party, which found that conduct reprehensible, and therefore found it difficult to send another committee to Adamawa to conduct elections. That is one. Number two, Adamawa was not the only state where primary elections were conducted in Abuja. There are 10 states of the PDP that had their primary elections conducted in Abuja. Adamawa was one, Yobe, Borno, Taraba, Kebbi, and 5 others. And the main reason given for Adamawa and others was the insurgency. Indeed, at the time of the primary elections, 7 local governments of Adamawa State could not actually be assessed.
All right, let me jump in here. Let me jump in. Could you, the primaries, just hang on a minute. The primaries that were held in Abuja, is it true that it was only Nuhu Ribadu that was present as the aspirant? That all the other aspirants were in Yola?
I was at the primary held in Abuja. It was not only Nuhu Ribadu that was there. I am aware that on the ballot of those primaries, there were other candidates on the ballot, and they were also represented by their agents. I'm aware that Dr. Modibo was represented by an agent, Governor Ngbale was represented by an agent, and 3 other governorship aspirants were represented by the agent.
Yeah, but Senator Zwingina, I mean, you're a long-standing politician. I mean, if a primaries of importance as that of the governorship primaries, is it wise to send an agent?
I'm also aware that the National Working Committee gave advance notice of that date. I'm also aware that the National Working Committee gave advance notice of the venue. I'm also aware that the National Working Committee chartered 2 Boeing 747 to bring delegates, accredited delegates from Adamawa State. I'm also aware that many delegates came from Adamawa State in vehicles chartered in obedience.
Yes, they sent an agent.
I'm also aware that the committee that conducted that election read out names of delegates, and the people came out personally and physically.
Okay, let's get Mr. Ngbale to respond to what you said, because I see him nodding away, perhaps in disapproval.
I feel sad for this country.
Why?
That somebody who sat in the hollow chambers of the Senate of Nigeria will talk and justify illegalities.
What parts of it? What did he say that he didn't agree with?
The fact that he said these primaries were held and that these other candidates have agents, at least, shows you that he was just outrightly telling lies on this.
But you said you were not there.
Yes, I wasn't there.
And now you're saying...
And he said that the governor is a candidate and a beneficiary. He is a candidate and a beneficiary. And they gave him the post of candidate for the Southern Senatorial District, which he knows he cannot win back home. It's not right that people who have risen to that level would like to take this country for a ride. It's very unfortunate.
All right, well, we're running out of time. What are you requesting for now?
The primaries that held in Abuja should be cancelled.
And what should be done?
If at all primaries were held there, because as I told you, it was only Nuhu Ribadu that was in that place.
Can primaries be held in Adamawa
Why
State,
not?
given the security situation?
Primaries were held for the House of Assembly without any rancor at all. APC held their primaries from House of Assembly to governorship without any rancor in Adamawa State. There was no problem whatsoever.
Senator Zwingina, is this correct?
Well, let me say that the primary, the House of Assembly primaries were held by the local chapter and not by the committee sent from Abuja. I want this team to know that the local chapters of PDP do not run their organizations independent of guidelines from the NWT.
Yeah,
the
but
NWT sent a committee, and the committee was not able to conduct those primaries, and they wrote those problems that they encountered in their petition.
no, but what he is driving at now is that primaries can be held in Adamawa. It doesn't necessarily have to hold in Abuja.
Yes, but the primaries held in Adamawa had a problem, and that is that they were held in the premises of an aspirant.
So why don't they move it somewhere else?
They were not held in Eagle Square.
Why don't they move it somewhere else? Could you let's get this question in, Senator.
Listen.
Where an aspirant will conduct primaries that will be accepted to other aspirants.
Listen.
These are the issues that the local chapter.
You make it sound, Senators Ringina, just a moment. Can we really say?
Could you hold on, Senator? Let's get some questions in. Just a minute.
Can we really say that the government house is the residence of an aspirant? Can we really say that?
Yes. The government house is the residence of an aspirant.
We would have thought that the government house belonged to...
The presidential lodge
just a moment.
To the government house,
we would have...
residence of an aspirant.
We would have thought that the government house belonged to the people of Adamawa State. And if you decided that that was where they were going to do their primaries, it's okay to hold it there.
No, the primaries are going to be held in a neutral place. Usually they are held as venues outside the premises of an aspirant.
Yeah.
And the committee that went confessed that they were not even allowed to go to the office of the party.
Okay, all right, just hold on.
They were not even allowed to go to a neutral place of
all right, let's get a response on this. We're running out of time. Quickly, Mr. Ngbale.
He's getting it all wrong. The primary elections for House of Assembly, as I told you, were held in the various local governments. You know, only the local governments that could not be free for primary elections, like Madagali, Michika, and Mobi, the northern part of the state, that were held in Yola. They were not even held in the government house as is being alleged, because he was not there. He's just postulating.
But were you flexible in terms of the choice of where to hold the governorship primaries? But
when the state is free to hold primary elections, I just told you that APC had their primary elections in Adamawa State, from House of Assembly up to governor.
Were you insistent that it be held in government house?
No primaries were held in government house. The committee, after all, how many of them are there? Can they cover the entire state? The committee that went were accommodated in the government house, in the presidential lodge, not in the government house. Primaries were held in the various local governments. In the various local governments, they were not held in the government house or in the presidential lodge.
Okay. Senator Zwingina, from the comments we've heard from Mr. Ngbale here now, it does appear that... briefly too, because we're completely out of time now. Briefly.
Yeah, let me explain what I mean by primary held. As a party man, yes, I just want to explain this. As a party, when we say primaries are held, we mean there is the conception of the primary, which is the issue of the policy and the law, which the NWT places. Then there is the implementation committee that sets the guidelines and sends out people to conduct the primary. The people sent to Abuja, to Yola, were restricted in the residence of the governor, and they were taking the materials they brought, including all the decision making of the primaries, were taken away from them and conducted by the local chapter, not by the committee sent from Abuja.
All right, but
primaries were held. We mean primaries were organized from a wrong location and not by the committee as predicted by national headquarters of the party.
From the look of things now,
no chapter can sit down, organize things, and expect the national headquarters to accept that.
From the look of things now, just a minute, I mean, from what Ms. Ngbale has said, it does appear as though the party is not together on that decision that the primaries held in Abuja. So,
No,
don't you...
The party, there is only one party. And the party is the party in Abuja National Working Committee acting on NEC. A local chapter, and all other local chapters.
All right, thank you, Senator Zwingina.
The decision of the NWC.
All right, thank you.
Reasons given by the NWC. The NWC is a body of representatives elected.
Okay, Senator Zwingina, we get your point, and we are out of time. Thank you very much for speaking with us. Senator Jonathan Zwingina joins us from Abuja. Well, you heard him there saying it looks as if they're not going to back down.
Well, I hope he wants to win the election he's going in for. Because from the look of things, he's speaking from Abuja, pretending that all is well. Okay. I want to tell him that all is not well, and he may not get anywhere. I pity the president the most, because he will be the one.
Lawrence Ngbale, a member of PDP in Adamawa, thank you also for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
Well, that's it today on the program. We thank you all for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain Oso.
Well, thank you for watching. I'm Alkwe Ogun.
And I'm Neil Tagbe. Have a great day.